Now, how do we deal with qualitative data? Qualitative data also comes from different sources. This is basically from unstructured, semi-structured, and focus group discussions, as well as in-depth interviews. Now, this data may also come in the form of pictures, your notes, or direct observations. Now, these are basically open-ended items. And when we say open-ended items, it means we have given the respondent the opportunity to provide us with the needed information that we require. And so as this information get to us, they may be in the form of words, phrases, drawings, and sometimes in the form of pictures. If we are looking at qualitative data, sometimes our direct observations are provided in the form of notes, which may be written down. And so as you observe the event, you write as much information as you can write. And this must be in the form of very concrete and specific items. This means that you must be very objective in the events that you record, in the experiences people provide, and the situations in which you are making the research. As much as possible, there are certain features of qualitative data. These features are very distinct in that they let us differentiate qualitative data from quantitative data. For example, one of the key things that the features of qualitative data present is that some inherent richness and holism are established. This means that qualitative research is rich in terms of the information that we receive. And when we talk of holism, it means that we are looking at the whole complexity of information that has been provided without sifting through and taking certain things out of it. In the same way, we also ask things that are related to the issues that we want to address. And so we ask questions of what, how many, how has it been done, and also the experiences of people. These are based on discovery, exploring new ideas, and developing hypotheses. All these are useful when one needs to supplement, validate, explain, or interpret quantitative data. So when we want to measure qualitative research, we have to use the major processes of inductive reasoning. And for qualitative research, we base things on the concepts, the themes, and the models that we interpret as we get the data with us. One of the things that you must also note with qualitative data is that the raw data that we get must be gradually be summarized. And as we summarize the data, we move on from one experience to the other so that the text or the data can be analyzed. What are the major differences? Okay. Now there are a few similarities and differences between quantitative and qualitative data. And the difference is well established by Newman 2014, in which he talks about both of them providing empirical details of social life as well as using reasoning to reach conclusions based on the evidence that are gathered. The other similarity is that the facts or evidence or conclusion that is drawn is based on known evidence and nothing else. Both qualitative and quantitative research also draw conclusions based on the data that has been collected and nothing else. And at the same time, we also have large amounts of data that are also always accessible to others for verification. The third similarity is that both researchers can provide comparisons, and these comparisons are evidence in the information that they provide. Then at the same time, as we compare the data, we try to avoid all the errors and false conclusions that may mislead our inferences. Rigor is also critical in both research paradigms. Rigor in the sense that we must go through a process that will lead us to a possible conclusion from the data that we have got, and the conclusion and the results must be valid and true. The key differences that may be established is that for quantitative data, we try to test for hypotheses using statistical methods, and at the same time, for qualitative data, it goes on a body of applied mathematics. In terms of qualitative data tend to provide information that are basically in words and either phrases, or we can also get information that can be narrated. Analysis is done also inductively. And for qualitative research, our major issue is not to test hypotheses, but rather focus on evidence to show that a theory or generalization or interpretation is possible. The issue of differences are well established, and for us, the two paradigms can work hand in hand, and as the two are stated, you must know how to analyze the data using both paradigms in terms of the research.